Exactly 42 seconds. This was the longest Kash Patel had to answer in Congress. However, those 42 seconds were enough to reveal one of America's darkest secrets. Because when Representative Jamie Raskin showed the document he had, everyone in that room had witnessed something. The color running down the FBI director's face, his trembling hands, and the 47 names he refused to answer. And in that moment, that 42 seconds of silence was more powerful than the answer. This morning at 9:34 a.m., a hearing began routinely in the Congressional Oversight Committee. At least, it seemed routine. Kash Patel sat in the chair as FBI director with 4 lawyers by his side, pre-prepared notes in front of him, and the full power of the government behind him. For the first hour, standard questions came up: budget allocations, personnel policies, operational updates. Patel knew how to answer every question flawlessly, successfully balancing a trustworthy tone with transparency without revealing anything. But at 10:47 a.m., the president yielded the floor to Representative Jamie Raskin. At that moment, the atmosphere in the room changed. Raskin, a former constitutional law professor, was a key figure in Trump's second impeachment trial, having developed complex legal strategies over the years. And now, he was sitting across from her with a manila folder in his hand. The red confidential stamp on the file was visible from every camera. "Director Patel," Raskin began, his voice calm but firm, "I want to ask you some questions about the Epstein files." Patel's facial expression didn't change. "Senator, as you know, this is an ongoing investigation and—" "Ongoing?" Raskin intervened. "Director, Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019. 6 years have passed. When will this ongoing investigation end?" Patel leaned forward and reached for his water glass. "Senator, in such complex cases, is it complicated?" Raskin's voice rose. "Or is it protected? Because I don't see complexity, Director. I see a style. The style of protecting strong people." Raskin opened the manila file. "Director Patel, I have a document from the FBI's own files, FD 302 reports. You know what these are, don't you?" "Yes, I know, Senator. These are agent interview reports." "Right," said Raskin. "And these special FD 302s document interviews with victims during the Epstein sex trafficking investigation conducted by the Southern District of New York in 2019. These victims told the FBI to whom Jeffrey Epstein sold them, and now I will read these names to you." The salon fell silent instantly. The journalists raised their pens. The cameras zoomed in. Patel's jaw clenched. First name, a Wall Street billionaire with assets exceeding $4 billion. Raskin paused and looked at Patel. The Patel didn't move. Second name, a former member of the British royal family. You know who I'm talking about, don't you, Director? Silence. Third name, a Canadian tech CEO mentioned by multiple victims. Fourth name, Jess Staley, the former CEO of Barclays Bank. Doesn't this name sound familiar to you, Director? Because you appear 63 times in your FBI files. One of Patel's lawyers whispered in Patel's ear. Patel nodded, but his eyes didn't leave Raskin. Fifth name, a person worth several $100 million, described by multiple victims as a Hollywood producer. Raskin sped up and didn't stop. Sixth name, a high-profile figure from the music industry. Seventh name, owner of a car company in Italy. Eighth name, a rock star. 9, a magician. Yes, Director, a magician. With each name, Raskin was turning a page. There was an FBI logo at the top of every page. 10, he is a Canadian billionaire. 11, a high-profile former politician. 12, a high-profile government official. Raskin put down the pages and looked directly at Patel. "Director Patel, do you recall testifying before the Senate before you became FBI director?" "Senator Kennedy had a question for you. Did Epstein sell these women to anyone other than himself? Do you remember your answer?" Patel's hand went to his tie. "Senator, the context." "Your answer was this," Raskin interjected, holding up a document. "There is no reliable information that he sold it to someone else. You said that. But these FD 302s I have document exactly who the victims said they were sold to by the FBI. So I ask you, weren't these victims trustworthy?" "Senator, every claim must be investigated, and were these claims investigated?" investigated? Raskin cut him off. Because this document I have is an internal FBI memorandum dated October 28th, 2025, from the Counterintelligence Department. Summary: it is recommended that an investigation be opened into 47 high-profile individuals connected to Epstein. There are sufficient possible causes. This document has been presented to you. And what did you do? Patel fell silent. Let me tell you what you're doing, Raskin said. Nothing. 47 names, 47 potential criminals, and you did nothing. If this story makes you angry, you're not alone. Millions of people are waiting for the answers to these questions. As Liberal Lens, we will continue to bring such truths to light. Director Patel, Raskin continued, did you open an investigation into any of these 47 people? 42 seconds had passed. Patel reached for his glass, slowly took a sip of water, and put the glass back down. And finally, the answer was, Senator, I cannot comment on ongoing investigations. Ongoing investigation? Raskin's voice sounded incredibly full. I'm asking if you've opened a new investigation. This is a simple yes or no question. Patel looked at his lawyers. Senator, the FBI's policy to protect the powerful? Raskin exploded. Because that's what I see from here. The name of a Wall Street billionaire is mentioned in the files, but for some reason, there is no investigation. A royal family's name is mentioned, and we see there's no investigation again. A CEO, a politician, a government official, none of them are being investigated. Senator, these accusations are baseless. Inappropriate? Raskin produced a third document. This is an email sent to you on November 15th by FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate. With your permission, I'm reading. I oppose the instruction to close the Epstein-related cases. The Counterintelligence Division collected concrete evidence of FARA violations and potential espionage activities. Closing these files would obstruct justice. I am officially recording this objection. Raskin slammed the document on the table. Your own assistant warned you, and you still protected 47 names. Patel had finally spoken, but his voice was tense. Senator, these files haven't been closed, just deprioritized. Raskin didn't stop. Prioritization? Raskin laughed, but it was a bitter laugh. Is protecting a royal family, billionaires, and CEOs a priority? What about the real victims? What's their priority then? Raskin held up a fourth document. Director Patel, do you recognize this document? A document written in 2007 by the Deputy Director of the CIA. Jeffrey Epstein is an intelligence asset. Their operations should not be interfered with. Did you see this? Senator, regarding the CIA documents, former Labor Secretary Alexander Acosta said he was told during the Epstein case, Epstein belongs to the intelligence services. Leave him alone. Do you remember? Silence. Director Patel, I'm asking you directly. Was Jeffrey Epstein a CIA asset? Senator, this is within the CIA's jurisdiction. Did you see the CIA file? A simple question. Does the CIA have a file on Epstein, and have you seen it? Patel's hand went to his water glass again. This time, he was trembling. Senator, interagency coordination. Is this a charity? Raskin intervened. Didn't you see the CIA's file, or didn't you want to see it? The salon was almost buried in silence. Journalists logged into their laptops. Epstein's CIA became a trending topic on Twitter. Raskin leaned back confidently. Director Patel, I need to read you some more of these 47 names, because these are just rich people. Some of them are within your government. 13. Name. A high-ranking official at the Pentagon served between 2008 and 2016. Name 14. A member of Congress is still in office. Name 15. A federal judge. With each name, Patel seemed to shrink further. Name 16. A national security advisor. Name 17. An ambassador. Name 18. An Israeli intelligence official, Ehud Barak. That name carried a special weight. Raskin paused, letting the impact sink in. If you want to see the truth, you need to look beyond political theater. As Liberal Lens, we address topics that mainstream media doesn't cover. Ehud Barak, Raskin repeated, former Prime Minister of Israel and head of military intelligence. There are 36 recorded meetings with Epstein on Epstein's private calendar. And didn't you investigate this? Senator, international relations. International relations? Raskin's voice rose. Do international relations come before protecting children? Patel's face was covered in sweat. Senator, these accusations. It's not an accusation, Director. Documents. The FBI's own documents. FD 302s, victim statements, agent reports. It's all in the FBI's files. In your files. And you didn't do anything. Raskin leaned forward. Do you know what the scariest part is? These 47 names are only the names the victims remember. There were over 10,000 files on Epstein's servers seized by the FBI. Photos, videos, documents. Could you tell me how many names they have, Director? Silence. There were nearly 1,500 names in Epstein's black book. How many did you research? Silence. There are 723 private flight records to Little St. James Island between 2002 and 2019. There are hundreds of names in the flight logs. How many did you meet? Patel's jaw clenched, but his mouth didn't open. Here's the truth, Director, said Raskin, his voice cold and clear. You didn't research these names because the system was designed to prevent you from researching them in the first place. These people are very rich, very powerful, and very well connected. Banks, media companies, tech giants, intelligence services, they're all interconnected. It's your job to protect this system. Senator, I object. Of course you're objecting, Raskin intervened, because the truth is very disturbing. The truth is there are two justice systems in America. One for people like us, one for them. While one is arresting a neighborhood doctor who abused his child, the other is unfortunately protecting the billionaires who run a sex trafficking ring. Raskin lowered his voice, but his words were even more powerful now. Director Patel, you know there are real people behind these 47 names, like Virginia Roberts Giuffre, may he rest in peace. She was kidnapped by Epstein at the age of 16, sold for years, and when she reported it, no one believed her. When she finally spoke, the media declared her a liar. Lawyers harassed her, and the system crushed her. And do you know what happened just now? He passed away at the age of 39, and with him went most of the stories he told. These 47 people you're protecting are breathing easily because you no longer need to silence him. The living room was quiet. Some members of Congress bowed their heads. But Virginia wasn't alone, Raskin continued. Maria Farmer, one of the victims, reported to the FBI in 1996. Pay attention here. 1996. About Epstein, about Maxwell, about the whole gang. What did the FBI do? Nothing. 23 years is nothing. Why? Raskin hit the ball happily. Because this system is designed not to protect children, but to protect the powerful. Director Patel, said Raskin, holding up one last document. This is a document sent by a whistleblower within the FBI on December 3rd, 2025. With your permission, I'm reading the critical part now. When the order came to close the Epstein files, 11 out of the 12 agents in our unit objected. We were told this was an order from above. We were implied that our careers would be finished if we continued the investigation. 3 agents tried to copy the files, but computer access was shut down. Someone was forced to retire. This isn't just a cover-up. This is systematic destruction. Raskin put the document on the table. Systematic destruction. Even your own agents were silenced by force when they tried to tell the truth. Now you're going to sit here and tell me it's an ongoing investigation? Patel's face was now as stiff as a board. His hands were resting on the table, motionless, but his fingers were trembling slightly. I'm going to ask you one last question now, Director, Raskin said. It's a simple question. Yes or no is enough. Will you arrest any of these 47 people? 42 seconds have passed. Patel drank another glass of water. He cleared his throat. He looked at his lawyers. He was examining the ceiling. He seemed to be thinking, I wish this Congress would end so we could leave. And finally, Senator, the complexities of the justice system. You want to say no, Raskin said flatly. You will not arrest him because the system will protect them, just like he couldn't protect Virginia, just like he couldn't protect Maria, or just as he couldn't protect hundreds of other girls whose names we'll never know. Raskin stood up. With this statement, I am making the following requests. 1. The immediate declassification of all Epstein FD 302s. 2. The clean, public disclosure of the identities of these 47 people. 3. That an independent investigation be opened into each of them. 4. The dismissal of everyone responsible for this decision at the FBI. And 5. I demand the resignation of Director Patel. The salon exploded. Journalists ran. The cameras flashed. Republicans objected, Democrats applauded, and Kash Patel, he sat down, quietly. His hands were clasped, his jaw was clenched, and his eyes were blank. Because what could he say anymore? The truth was there, in the documents, files, and the victims' statements. 47 names, 47 people, justice awaiting 47 settlements. And Patel's silence? It was actually the loudest thing that spoke. This wasn't just a congressional hearing you were watching. This was seeing the true face of a system, the system of power, privilege, and protection. If you believe in true justice, share these conversations, ask these questions, amplify these voices. As Liberal Lens, our mission is this: to bring to light the truths that the powerful want to hide, to dismantle political theater and show what's really happening in America's institutions. Subscribe. Share, don't be silent, because real change begins with the truth being told. And this reality begins with 47 names.